Hello, hello, everybody. Make sure everything's working right. Maybe turn this down a little bit. I'll put it right at there. I hope that's alright. Let's scoot this closer to me. It's not going to be a super long one today. Just a little bit of practice here. Oops. Let me see, where's my other window? Because I gotta have my window to tell me what discs I'm on. Otherwise, I don't know. Okie dokie. Oh yeah, I need to have my chat up so I can actually see what anybody is saying. Let's see. Dashboard. Oh, what's up, Red Z? Hey, hey. Yeah, I decided to do a short little one since I'm making progress on the Ripper stuff. Before I continue on the guidance stuff because of the hey darling, how you doing? But just a short little one so I can get some before I get back on my normal schedule of things. Because we're having to put a lot of work in that house. We're making progress at least, but the biggest thing is getting the stuff that we have to pay someone. Oh man. So I'll eventually be back on it with the guide and stuff like that. Because yeah, I was supposed to meet with the plumber today, and then they contact us and say, "Oh no, wait, it's going to be Thursday." And it's like, Jesus, why is it so hard to get a damn plumber? It's not like it's going to be a little job; it's a big job, so they're going to make money. But whatever, right? Uh, so I've routed out one and two, X 1 and 2. I just need to route out 3, which I posted the video of where I did. I called it the dev percent or whatever, which is basically just using the dev menu. Uh, in fact, I should probably see if I can get a slightly better time on it. And of course, they didn't have the game on speedrun.com, so I had to submit a ticket for them to add the game and everything. And of course, whenever you add a game, they make you the moderator, so yippee-ki-yay. And just, you know, etc., etc. See, the fun thing about this is that you actually do have to do something weird. So to access the dev menu, I'll start a new game and show you. So you have to go to options. And then the power button normally closes the options menu. But if you hold both shifts on the keyboard, left and right, and click power, it opens up the dev menu, which allows you to manually set every flag in the game. Has a lot of flags in this game. And you have to be extremely careful too, because a lot of flags will cause the game to crash because other flags haven't been set, or this, that, or the other. So you have to be extremely careful when you do that. So the way I figured out is do complete prologue, Act 1 and Act 2. Then you want to change it to Burton as the Ripper, and I'll explain why. Hospital main. And then ready to rock with the Ripper. Get out of that. Go to the go to the map, go to the Tribeca Center. Change it to disc 6. And boom. Now you're literally at the very end of the game. All you have to do is go to where Catherine is, and it starts the final sequence. So that's why you want to open the hospital, because in the prologue, the hospital isn't open. You have to activate the flag to open it. Um, I do completed 1 and 2 because I think if you do completed 3, that counts as like the end of the game or something. The flags are weird because they're very. You could tell it's a devs menu because they have funny names and stuff that doesn't specifically explain what it does. Because to a dev, they know what it does. So they're just using shorthand basically. Stuff that makes sense to them, but not necessarily to us. But I found that if you try to do completed Act 3, it bugs out. But I guess it calls the final part with the Ripper Act 4. But it also has a flag for completing the game too, so I'm not sure exactly when all of those activate. Because once you beat the game, you can't access that menu again. But also, I changed it to Burton because when you get to the final part of the game, it cycles through each of the 4 suspects. The first one it cycles through is Burton. And they all have their little lines and stuff. It's faster just to set it to Burton. That way you can just immediately get her.
Almost had it and the screen went static. It's off the monitor, it's out of memory, it's probably gone forever.
Hell, the longest part of this is watching all the cutscenes you can't skip.
It's gotta be the Ripper, he's making his move.
And so with that, it's actually a fairly easy. It's a fairly easy speed run. You just have to know the best way to be able to do the dev menu by hitting both shift keys and clicking the power button. So if I grind it out a little bit, I can probably cut a little bit of time from it. But mostly I want to do a full run. It's just I figured I should go ahead. I could go ahead once I figured this part out. I could go ahead and knock this out, have a run out, and then get the page made and then have it prepared and start working through it. Especially if other people get into running it. That is Paul Giamatti. This game has an amazing cast. And this was like before he was really a big name too. It was actually the last game. I'm doing this kind of slow, but whatever. It's got an absolutely amazing cast. It really does. It's by Take-Two Interactive, which, they're a big name now, but at the time, they just, they actually spent most of the money making the, getting all the actors and stuff. It's got Christopher Walken, Scott Cohen, Karen Allen, Burgess Meredith, who's his last role before he died, too.
That's the last piece of the puzzle. Now I can take a shot at the Ripper.
Tawny Welch, Jimmy Walker.
I'm a doctor.
Crazy cast. It's amazing.
Don't lose your head, kid. I ain't your killer.
Yeah, Walken is in this. It's amazing. Of course, not a lot of people know about it. In general, you're in the future and someone's killing people. And you have to figure out who the killer is.
It's so unlike.
See, here's the cast list right here. Christopher Walken, Burgess Meredith, Karen Allen, David Patrick Kelly, Scott Cohen. It's just absolutely amazing. 1996, Ozzie Davis, John Rhys Davies, man, Tawny Welch, Jimmy Walker, Dynamite, man. I'm not sure who that is. He's famous enough, at least, probably. Hey, Mask, how you doing? I should probably skip that because I think they'll flag me for it. Which sucks because it's like a prominent song in this game. You start the game, it plays the song, it's a clue to the final puzzle, and it plays it through the credits. Oh yeah, so I probably will get flagged for it. Crap, I forgot about that. Dang you, YouTube and Twitch. Yeah, I'm doing alright. I just thought I'd do like a short short little stream while uh, I'm working on. I thought I'd at least get something out before I go back to my like regularly scheduled program, as they say. Because see, I was supposed to meet with the plumber today. I've already said this before, but I was supposed to meet the plumber today. Then they're like, "Oh, hey, no, it's going to be Thursday." It's like, oh, come on. Let's see. Act 3. I named these all like crazy shorthand, and then I forget what the hell they even mean. I'm just a genius. Act 3. Store game. Uh, yeah, it's got an absolutely crazy cast, and it's a little over the top. The acting isn't like Shakespearean level. It's kind of campy in some ways. Maybe not campy, but like Christopher Walken, he chews scenery like the best of them, right? But it makes it so charming and fun. Like Karen Allen, she's so melodramatic in this. It's great. Um, it's such a great game, and it's abandonware, unfortunately. Yeah, pretty much. Like if they push us back again, I don't know what we're gonna do because we got to get the plumbing fixed 100% before we moved in because of how bad it is. And it's really the only thing that's like makes it unlivable is the state the plumbing's in. Everything else is stuff that we can fix or work on or tweak or blah blah blah, right? But without good plumbing, we can't live there. No water, we can't take a shower, we can't go to the bathroom, right? Um, and I don't know what the deal is. It's not like we're not on a slab. A slab makes it worse because they would have to fix anything, they'd have to jackhammer through the slab and then fix it afterwards. But we're on a traditional foundation, so you just crawl into the house and there's pipes. Uh, for the most part, right? But I don't know. I don't know what the deal is. I don't know if they're so busy or if they don't think that it's going to be worth their time or what the case may be. But it's like we got to get it fixed. We got to make it livable at least for us to move in. Because it's not like the place is in bad shape. It's got a lot of cosmetic stuff. It's got this, that, and the other. But I don't know. But I've got another person I've got to call and try to see if they're interested in popping by too. Because we'll get multiple, what do you call it? Multiple quotes, I guess is what I'm going to say. Yeah. I have fiddled a little bit with the Dormitabus, although I did the remastered one, not the original. Because I've heard they fixed some little things about it. I'm not really a huge Five Nights at Freddy's person, so it would probably take a little bit of practice and stuff like that to get used to it. Then again, I'm not even really I haven't really been a huge point and click player, but I do like this game. I think this game's very fun. Uh, so, and another fun thing about this game is I did buy the strategy guide for it. The nice old strategy guide. It's in good shape too. The funny thing about the strategy guide is that literally 9/10 of the book is just basically writing out the story and everything that happens. And then the last small section of the book is a strategy guide for it. Which is cool because it actually teaches me some stuff I didn't know. But it doesn't give me some information that I was curious about, like. Okay, check this out. We'll start from the beginning. Yeah, I did not mean to do that. Hold on. Another one of the downsides is because this is abandonware, you have to play it through something like DOSBox, right? I'm gonna skip the intro.
Hey,
You have to play it through something like DOSBox, and that means also you got to do the disk changing and stuff because there's not a version. There's not a version that you can play where it's like diskless, like you can with Phantasmagoria or Phantasmagoria 2. Which is unfortunate, but it's also like, well, unless they decide to re-release it or something like that, we're kind of. Let me make sure they're not flagging me or nothing for it. Anyway, let's do all this. The biggest problem with this game, in terms of gameplay, the puzzles aren't bad, although some can be difficult. I'm skipping through all this. The biggest problem is the navigation is extremely slow. But we can get more to that later. So you can see, here's Christopher Walken here.
Don't go taking any souvenirs, Quinlan.
Chrissy Walken.
Same MO as the others?
You got it. Look around you, asshole. If anything, this is more gruesome than the other two. Hell of a lot more splatter.
Splatter.
Who's the victim?
Name's Stein. Renee Stein. Age 43. Book editor over at Knopf.
Any
Knopf.
connection to the other two?
Well, let's see. Estevez was a programmer. Mandler a dry cleaner. It'll take me 48 hours to run it down, but there's no connection here.
You have any clues?
No sign of forced entry, nothing's disturbed. 2 sets of prints, hers and her mother's. The only thing not where it should be is this woman's insides.
But what about witnesses? I mean, this guy must have been a bloody mess, even if it's 3 o'clock in the morning. It's Greenwich Village. Somebody must have seen him.
As far as I know, he left us with 1 witness, and she's feeling a little fragmented at the moment. This guy is unfucking believable.
Fucking A-class acting right there.
Why is her computer on, Magnata?
Well, it looks like she was in a public library node. Well, let me ask you a question. You got any mail lately? Maybe a little something from your pen pal?
He writes after the fact, not before. You should know that, Magnata. I wouldn't hold out on you.
Of course not. You've been very good about sharing what you know with me and several million other people. I should have busted you when you ran that first letter without letting us know about it. All right, visiting hour's over. There's nothing here you haven't seen at the other murder sites except a few extra gallons of body fluids.
Well, you shouldn't be touching anything, should you,
Fluids.
Magnata?
I guess this case has me rattled.
Yep, that's very true, Mask. Like, okay, I'll tell you this, like with Phantasmagoria 2, the guys at Conversation with Curtis, they've gotten a hold of the original tapes that they recorded stuff on. And I think they're working on both digitizing it and stuff like that. So we can get like high quality footage eventually. Of course, someone would have to see about applying it to the game somehow, because the original game uses what's called the DUK format, which is the True Motion S format, which is a super uncommon format. Like some Saturn games use it, but most games don't. And at the moment, I'm still doing research on figuring out how to even convert videos into that. So like, I'm sure somebody who knows well enough could probably reprogram the game in a way to make it use a different format, blah, 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 something like that, right? Then they could have like an HD remastered, and then they could probably upscale the sprites and pictures, other stuff like that. There's probably like great ways to do it, right? But it would take so much effort, right? And it'd have to be something somebody would be doing on the side, because more likely than not, whoever owns CRS stuff now, they're not going to do it. And while this is this is Take Two's, and of course they're still around, but it's Abandonware. They don't really care about this game anymore, and haven't for a very, very long time. It'd be really awesome, for something like that, but. And then there's stuff like Scum VM, which takes things like, for example, Seventh Guest and improves it to where you could go faster, you can skip cutscenes, things like that.
Object scanned into database.
But they haven't done it for this game yet.
Incoming WAC transmission.
So like one of the first puzzles you get in this game is this mug puzzle.
Quinlan here. Hey, Catherine.
Hey Jake, how are things there?
Well, it's very red.
Well, anything different this time?
Just the name, Catherine.
Listen, Jake, something's come up here.
Something about the Ripper?
Might be nothing, I don't know, could be something big. Just wait for me at the newsroom and I'll let you know as soon as I find out.
Now talk to me. What's going on?
I have to go, trust me.
Who's in charge here?
Well, after last night, I'd say that I am.
So all of a sudden you don't have to explain yourself to me?
Look, if you don't hear from me in an hour, just go to my apartment and wait for me there. You can hang out with my crystals.
Catherine! Shit.
Someone, I can't remember who it is, I double checked, but they made the joke about how the WAC transmission sounds kind of sort of similar to Jouex. So it's like the Jouex transmission. It's like, yeah, that's what I should do, is like, edit, I should put that in the corner where it's the little WAC thing, except it's my logo or something. I don't know. So yeah, like one of the first things you do
The
is
shattered mug had something written.
you do this mug puzzle. The fun thing about this is that to beat the game, you don't actually have to do this puzzle, because all it does is have a word on it. It is kind of a weird puzzle to start out with because it's like finicky. Well, it's not super finicky, but it's like figuring out the right layers, I guess, that each piece is on. And it can be kind of, oh, excuse me, annoying and difficult.
What's going on, Ben? Did Catherine get a break in the Ripper story?
I don't know, Jake. I thought you were the lead reporter in the story.
Well, so did I. Do you know what she's up to?
She's your assistant. You tell me. She ran out of here like the place was on fire.
Did another letter from the Ripper come in?
No, you know he doesn't send them to anybody but you.
Then I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see. Catherine and I met on the job.
Look at him, hunting and
Despite
pecking.
reminding myself that mixing
He's supposed to be a
love and
writer.
work can get messy, it didn't take long for it to become more than a professional relationship. She was supposed to be my assistant, but she was beginning to act like it was her story. I only hoped that whatever lead she had, she wasn't in over her head.
Incoming WEC transmission. Source unknown.
Dear boss, have you seen my work this morning yet? Your stories make the cops seem so confident. None of you know how I do it. You never will. You shouldn't let your girlfriend do your work for you. She is close to me, and I'm not laughing. She's my next job. She gets it today. The story's all yours. Yours truly, Ripper.
Catherine.
Quinlan, where you going? Quinlan! Quinlan!
Usually it takes an hour to cross that part of Manhattan. I did it in 20 minutes, propelled by kicking myself in the ass for letting Catherine go out alone. I was scared as hell when I got there, but everything looked okay in her apartment. Until Catherine showed up, that is. Catherine, what is going on here? Catherine,
That didn't work right. Dang it.
What the
I'll
what is
fix it
wrong?
in a minute.
What happened? What? No, Catherine. Catherine. No. Catherine. Fuck. Catherine, please, Catherine. Fuck!
I love Scott Cohen. He's great. So yeah, you see, in general, you know, I would say definitely check it out if you like point and clicks and stuff like that. I 100% recommend it because it's such fun, at least. And the great thing is that even if you... Almost all the puzzles in the game you can skip using codes. If you like, oh man, this puzzle's stupid, you can just skip it. Let me try this again. Because I was trying to also mention that recently, Conversations with Curtis had Scott Cohen. They did an interview with him. Where is it? I'm always so bad with this. Ugh. Maybe I follow too many people. Curtis Craig talks. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, there we go. That's it. What did I... How did I mess up? Maybe it's because I was trying it on my phone. I don't know. Either way. Yeah, so you check out their... Especially, you know, check out their YouTube channel or whatever, and... You'll be able to see where they talk with Scott Cohen. They also played this game with Spoonie, which is, of course, the person who introduced this game to me some time back, where he does a great riff on it. He makes fun of the whole game. It's fantastic. Anyway. All right, exit. So what I've got to do... I've also got my text document here that I'm also building my run, the guide to it. And the prologue, Acts 1 and 2 are exactly the same. As far as I know, I don't think there's any scenes that are different up until Act 3. But once you get to Act 3, then there's a lot of things that change, like which clues go to which people, etc., etc. But in addition to the thing that you're saying about them being temperamental mask is the fact that they can sometimes be programmed in weird ways. I'm not sure what this is coded in, but like for example, the Sierra ones, oh, they're coded in SCI, or I think they're also coded in what is it called, API or something. You know, they have their own like language that they're coded in, and as a result, you can sometimes have it to where they are where they can be difficult to deal with. I'm going to move this stuff around. I don't like the way it looks with the chat blocking it. How about this? Yeah, that looks a little bit better. Anyway, luckily because I have access to the developer menu, I can change whoever's the person, so I can decide what the best way to proceed is. One thing I have figured out is that you don't have to talk to Vigo Haman. There's a character in the game called Vigo Haman, but you don't have to talk with them to finish the game. What I have decided so far is that one of the things you have to do is you have to go online and you have to get all these pieces. All these pieces for... What's my brain saying? You have to get all these pieces for... I've got a bunch of caffeine in me and it's not working. You have to get these... You have to get certain things to fight the Ripper, right? So the only... And there's a bunch of stuff you have to talk with each of the suspects as well. However, you also have to hit the flags to open up conversational trees. Now, one of the scenarios, you can go talk to this guy at the desk here and have him run a fingerprint check on the knife that you get. However, let's put that right there. There we go. However, that's only on 1 out of the 4 scenarios. So basically what I have to do is I have to say, hey, I have to, it's better to come back later, I feel like. Because, I may not even have to run the fingerprints on the knife. The key thing is just setting all the flags to get to the final thing, because there's so many clues that what I have to do is, there's so many clues that you don't necessarily have to find every single clue to know the answer. There's just enough clues, right? Based on this, that, or the other. So I think my first thing is go to Soap Smoke's house. Because I've got to unlock all of the wells, because it's really best to do all of the online stuff at once. Because like on day 1, what I do is I do all the online stuff except for one thing.
Back off, Quinlan. I read what happened to you. Farley's... Look.
So let's see. So I talk to him, go to the newsroom, disc 6.
Incoming WAC transmission.
And you have to see each of the 3 WAC transmissions because you put a bug on the second day.
Incoming surveillance
Those surveillance transmissions, you have the Rippers neenering at you. He's like, I'm going to kill you. They, I should say. Because of the 4 suspects, 2 are men and 2 are women. So, of course, you want to say he, because we all see Jack the Ripper as a male, but...
Exit cyberspace.
What's interesting is that there are some places in the game that you can navigate by using the directions, by pressing left or right or whatever on the keyboard, but not a lot. So, cyberspace is one of them.
Wofford well.
So do the Wofford thing. Kind of funny. He's like his little. It's like actually a digital. It's like an AI, but it's kind of funny that he looks sort of like a Force ghost. And again, it's sad, but this was the last game that he did before he died, so it's like, it feels kind of like thematically appropriate, I guess. I gotta talk to this guy. But this is also, I think this one is the one that I have saved that has Falconetti as the Ripper. So I'm not. So this one may not work for other possibilities. And you have a lot of weird things in this game that can make it difficult for people to play. Like here, he tells you there's no subtitles, so he mentions something about Cybard, but you're not really sure what he says. But you know, so you get stuff like that, where you have to know exactly what the hell he was saying, and that can make the game frustrating. The gameplay excluding the puzzles is arguably the worst thing about it, because you have to navigate and you have to pick up clues by listening to people talk. There's a great like the scenes with John Rhys Davies. Of course, he's an amazing actor, so his scenes are great, but the problem is the audio mixing for the cutscenes has the music be way too loud. You can barely hear him, which, ends up, being kind of frustrating, because you want to hear him act because he's acting his ass off, right? And hell, Spoonie himself said it best with this puzzle. It can be very, very easy or very, very hard, because in the cutscene I skipped, he says something about my brother's son or something like that. The answer is Horus. But if you translate all this, it'll give you the clue that'll essentially tell you the answer is Horus. And this is another thing I forgot to mention is there's a puzzle and combat difficulty. But there's a lot of puzzles that don't change based on puzzle difficulty. So here it's shelter, noose, eye, bird, crook. And I'm just gonna skip that. And so that's one that stays the same all difficulties.
Virtual Herald. Weapon 1.
And again, you also have Burgess Meredith's. He plays a pair of twins. The Force Ghost version, where he says Pegasus, Orestes, and Odysseus for the three wells. Well, I mean, it's clear this one's Pegasus, right? Obviously. But the annoying thing is if you don't know about those things already, you might not know how to spell Odysseus or Orestes. Oh, I can't believe I forgot to do that. Hold on. I don't know why I'm not shouting out people. See, that caffeine is not working for me. Guess I need some crack cocaine, to make my brain work. Because I was going to give shout outs to folks as they come in. And so that's one for Darling, which I know Darling's been still playing a lot of Elden Ring, which I know I haven't dropped by a whole lot. I'm not going to say I don't like Elden Ring, but it's not always my go-to, you know what I'm saying? But definitely check Darling out, and Mask. Hell yeah. Sekiro. Which I haven't played Sekiro, but I have played the Fallen Order games. Which is really fun. I loved Fallen Order a lot. I don't ever like to set it to the highest difficulty. I like to set it to the next to highest, usually. When I got to the final boss in that game, it took me 22 tries. I know, because I counted every single one of them. I was like, oh god, before I finally beat it. That game was fun, and I want to play the sequel. Because I also love Star Wars stuff. And I'm willing to try it. Worst case scenario, it's so hard I gotta crank it down to Babby's first difficulty, or whatever you would call it. Yeah, it's kind of a slow morning for me, too. I just haven't had much energy. I don't know why. Part of it is work, I tell you. The funny thing is that I'm a super energetic person. I'm a night owl, for example. I get all my energy at night, and I could stay up crazy late, right? Which is different from Rose. She can't stay up very late herself, but she also has a lot of very early morning jobs, so she needs a lot of sleep anyway. And so I'm often like super groggy in the morning, but I'm the kind of person that once I start going, I can just non-stop just go, 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 right? And that's part of the problem with my job being super slow, is that if I'm not going and going and going and going, I'm just tired. I've had times where I fell asleep. I'm literally sitting in my chair and just conk out and fall asleep because there's nothing happening. And it's like, it's like, I need something to do, guys. Come on. So this game is basically just chess. Why am I trying to? I'm trying to click on the screen, not the right screen. So this game is basically chess. You move your pawns. You know. You can move one space. They could come attack and they kill your guy. Their guy upgrades, etc., etc. The downside is they can move their knights, but you can't move your knights until all your pawns are dead. Unfortunately. So it ends up being frustrating. Especially because they all look so similar. It's hard to tell what's what. Ah, he killed me. I think these guys are the pawns, yeah. Let's move over to the left. Dang it. I can't even tell when my thing's selected. It's like making the noise, but it's not allowing me to do anything. Either way, you could totally do this puzzle, or you can type in aspirin. And there you go. You've beaten it. The game has a bunch of codes like that. Not everything is skippable like that, but a lot of things are. And I like to think of it not as a cheat code, but as like the game, you go to cyberspace a lot. It's about hackers and gamers and blah, blah, blah. What you're doing is you're hacking the game. Oh, you could play their silly little game, or you could be master matrix hacker, and boom, look at that, I hacked your game. There you go.
Weapon 2.
Is the way I like to think about it. Where's... What happened? Oh. Wait, what? I'm able to pause it? I didn't know I could do that. I just found that out, I guess. Wait, does that mean I can pause cutscenes? Or is it just these unskippable cutscenes? So yeah. So you have these silly little combat sections. We gotta shoot them in their weak... Hey, Prunu, how you doing? Where you gotta use your shield, and you gotta block them, and you gotta shoot them in their weak spot. All that kind of stuff. But my thing is, I don't understand why this isn't skippable like some of these other puzzles. It's not like it's hard, but it is time consuming, so it's one thing that's going to make the speed... There we go, I just beat him. I'm glad to hear you're doing good. Yeah, I'm doing alright. It's just decided to do a short little stream. Oh, that's probably illegal read. Yeah, the one thing is that this game is kind of wonky on DOSBox. And one thing, and so, I do know I have to do this. Where I have to go to this well. Like, regardless. To solve this puzzle here. Jack the Ripper, etc., etc. And then you get this puzzle right here, which is a super interesting puzzle because what you're supposed to do is take this letter and then ascribe, like, to each of these books. Like, it starts out saying, he won't fix me yet. And so that's the complete book of home repair, etc., right? Oh, yeah, this game's got puzzles. And also this is another thing, too. Is that if Falconetti is, he'll have this extra page that says Vigo Haman, because that unlocks your ability to talk to Vigo Haman. Well, if it's Eddie, it's super obvious, because you get the Vigo Haman thing, you get where it mentions Josie Dorset on his Chictionary, and if you talk to him, he'll say, he says, I barely knew the girl, even though it's implied that they've had intercourse quite a bit. But anyway, you could totally do this puzzle. Or you could type in, what's the code? What's the code? It's sponge. Boom. And you skip it. See ya. Again, like I said, I like to think of it like hacking. So my current rules for the any percent is not is that you're allowed to use those codes. You're just not allowed to use the developers menu. There we go. You might like the puzzles in this game though. The puzzle in this game, one, it's got 3 different difficulties. So you can make it extremely hard or a lot easier. Notice I say a lot easier because it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be easy. And see, the funny thing is the internet thing about how there's about how like all the websites on the internet are just all of these. You know, and it's this visual representation. Again, you can see how it takes so long to scroll through all this is why the speedrun is not very fast, because you have to do all of this very slowly. And see, like, I hit enter so I can go here, and he's got to do his little animation. So you can just get to this section. So normally what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to, like, hop around to different squares so that you can eventually get to where the guy is on the other end. Or I could just type in pretzel and skip it. It's like, see you later, alligator. So, okay, what would be my plan? So I got the weapons, I got the Eddie secret. I went back to Digital Eden. Let me see something. Check my whack. Weapon 1, 2, 3, antiviral, all that stuff. Compression software. I think I need to go to Falcon Eddie's. Oops, it's not skipping the discs for me. Okie dokie, DOSBox. Could you work for me? Yeah, DOSBox is a little wonky about this game. It's definitely worth trying, again, because it's abandonware, it's free. You just have to know how to work DOSBox, which is not hard. You have to mount all 6 discs, and then play it. You might have to tweak some stuff to get it to work exactly right. And you got to make sure to patch it, too. So
you know, it's a sleep thing. Stress. Murdering all those people is fucking hard work.
How'd you hear?
And see, that's another thing. Is that he actually says the thing about murdering people, which he's basically just saying, yeah, he's killed the people, so it makes it kind of easy, doesn't it? That he just kind of outright says it, you know, even though he's a bit sarcastic throughout the game anyway, but I mean, he is the guy, right? But if you play through the game, I actually feel like Eddie's kind of tragic, to be honest. I mean, yeah, he's kind of a ne'er-do-well at this point, but, you know, compared to people who are like Burton, who's like greedy and ambitious, Magnata, who's like sadistic, and Catherine, who's like out for revenge or something, depending on who it is now. That's part of what makes it interesting, is that they all have their character flaws and all that. It's only once you get to the 3rd day and find the new clues that you find how deep it goes to make that person the killer. you know. And again, days I keep saying days, but it's acts really. Acts 1 and 2 again are exactly the same, but once you get to the third act, it starts coming up. The little bits start coming together, and scenes start being slightly different. I believe. I have to double check though. I can't remember what I have to do. So, oh wait, do I have to? I have to check the picture. Duh! I have to go to the database, look at the picture, and then talk to her. And she's like, "This isn't real." Shit. Oh no! Before I do anything, once I should remember to do that is the audio file.
The stage is set. The roles are cast for the next game of Ripper. Let the mystery begin.
Yeah, I gotta actually listen to that because that's the sort of the clincher, I guess you could argue, is that it's all about this Jack the Ripper game they played so many years ago, 15 years ago, I think it is, or something in the game, where somebody accidentally died. That's not the right way. It's hard to say a lot about it because again, it's this kind of this slow grind here, where it's like you got to turn the direction, walk forward very slowly. There's no way to skip it. You just got to sit there and watch them very slowly walk through the halls. It'd be one thing if you only had to do it like once, right? Like the first time you go through, but nah, it's every time. It gives it some, like the world has depth, of course, but... So the newsroom, because I gotta go talk to, Ozzie Davis's character. Ben Dodds, that's it. So you can skip through all the dialogue. You can skip through a lot in the game, just not the navigation, and that's what makes it dreadfully slow. And having to change discs and stuff like that is kind of frustrating, because part of the way I plan my route is based on having to change discs and such. That way you do that the least amount possible, because it adds a lot of time. So if there's something I can also do on disc 2, I'm going to do it on disc 2. At this point, I've gotten so used to changing discs and stuff, it's not a problem anymore. As long as the game acts right. That's the biggest problem, is when the game decides, I don't want to do right.
Now, what did Claire do?
Oh, yeah. And then, again, so if you saw, when I looked through the book, it showed Josie Dorset in his Chictionary and strongly implied that they've had intercourse, right? Well, what does he know about Josie Dorset?
What do you know about Josie Dorset?
Barely knew the girl. It was a long time ago.
But apparently it's fresh for somebody. I mean, it's got to be the same person.
No shit. Guess who's on the short list? That son of a bitch is gonna kill everybody that played that game. Not many of us left.
And it all started with Josie.
Yeah, so what?
So who was she?
I hardly even knew the fucking girl. She was just some chick that was into the Ripper shit like the rest of us. All I remember is that she talked a lot. Never stopped. Went on and on about that daughter of hers. Drove me nuts. I have no idea why anybody would off her.
I needed liquid.
Claire knew her better than I did.
So so you see, if Eddie's the guy, then he is lying to some degree about Josie Dorset. I like the implication though, and I haven't seen anything said about this in the game. I like the possible implication that he could be Catherine's father too. I think it depends on how long they were with the web runners and all that kind of stuff. But also, since I'm doing speedrun stuff, I don't know if this is obvious or not, but it is going to involve some level of spoilers, right? So I say if you don't want to be spoiled, I definitely say go and you can find it online, um, or even buy it because it's not like it's an expense. It's not like it's an expensive game if you want to buy a physical copy. But obtain the game one way or the other, and play the hell out of it. It's pretty cool. You're at least being captured by the acting, if even if you're annoyed by the bad navigation. So at this point, I don't need to go to Magnato's apartment. I'm going to the police station. Because you definitely got to get the picture, if there is a picture. And I think there almost always is. There might not be one if there's the if Catherine's the killer, I think. This game does have some interesting puzzles though. And some can be very hard too. There's a microchip puzzle on Act 2 that is it's not super hard because there's a book you can scan in Soap Smoke's house that tells you how to proceed with it, but it's still kind of difficult. Ah, exactly, Daniel. It has no interesting puzzles whatsoever. None. Not even the mug. So how you doing, Daniel? You doing all right? Yeah, to give you guys a shout out about the interview with Scott and the playthrough with Spoonie. So I figured out you don't have to do the mug puzzle at all to beat the game because by the time you get to Act 3, it assumes you did anyway. So you don't even got to bother with that stupid puzzle. If you don't want to, that is. So that's very fun. And oh, awesome. Thank you, man. Yeah, because I was doing research on it, and I found the cheat codes, quotation marks, and the developers menu. And finally, after playing with it enough, I found a way to make it skip to the final part of the game without crashing the without crashing the game. There may be a better way to do it. I don't know, but that's the way I've got so far. And I got a page made for it on speedrun.com.
Doc,
Oh yeah, I've got to do this puzzle too with the this thing. It's
Invalid.
oops. Okay. Apparently not, no. So if you get stuck anywhere, you just go into the devs menu and figure out this, that, and hell, it'll tell you who the Ripper is too.
how are you?
Also, I found out something I found out is that if you reload the area, it starts you back at the beginning of that area. So like if you're down in the morgue and you want to go up to the wards, you just go back and it starts you at the beginning. So you don't have to go all the way back up. You just start from there and then it skips it. So that's what I started doing in the speed run. Is rather than going all the way back, doing the turning around and going here, 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 I just start from the beginning and then go there. It's a lot of work because it's about figuring out how to activate the right flags to do everything. But yeah, apparently not. I mean, there's not a huge, super mega amount that you can skip, particularly in Act 2, but there's a lot of stuff you don't have to worry about too much. Like in day 2, you know how you have to go and do the button puzzle to get the code to put in the calculator to get the bugs. You could just put the code in the calculator. You don't have to even figure out the code. You just have to put it in. You do have to do the bug thing though. But another fun one I found out is how you have to put in the code in the in her diary or her journal. You could do that as soon as you get her journal. You don't have to go and find out the code. You could just type it in immediately and you got it. So that's what I do in the route currently. Is as soon as I get the journal, I immediately go put in the code so it starts decoding and stuff. Because you actually have to look at it to activate some of the flags in day 2. Like to be able to get the audio editor, you have to look at it in addition to talking to Soap Smoke so that you can go to the library. You have to talk to him to be able to record it and then look at the thing to be able to go to the library. Yep, that's right. That's what I do best, I think. See, the problem is that what we need to do is we need them to get a version of the game that doesn't require you to switch discs, because that's one of the big time wasters in the run so far is swapping discs around. And also planning the route so you don't have to swap discs every time you go to a new part of it. But it'd be nice if it was like Seventh Guest, where someone put it in Scum VM where you could skip through all the slow scenes of you navigating. Then the game would end up being a lot faster. Oh yeah, I gotta go Pan Financial. I definitely have to do that. I think I have to go to Bourbon and Well too. What was the code to this? I still haven't memorized everything on this, but I've memorized a lot. 1856-21. Like, you can tell, Daniel, they spent most of their money on hiring people and not necessarily on designing it. Because, like, for example, here, you can just type in the number with your keyboard.
Object scanned into database.
But to get into the web runner's loft, you have to manually press the buttons on the screen in the game. Which is like, that kind of inconsistency is always weird to me. That's right. Gotta get some traumatizing memories. I actually had to look at you guys playing it some to figure out some of the guide stuff. Some of the stuff on what to do when I was playing it before. But I was also using a guide on GameFAQs that was a pretty solid guide. And now I have the physical strategy guide. Which taught me some cool stuff about the game that I didn't realize either. That's true. I'll give you that. That is the best way. I mean, the cutscenes in this game are amazing, so it's definitely worth it. Ah, crap. That was the wrong one. I have the guide right here that I wrote down. At least a game like this has a lot of fun puzzles. Oh, that'll be awesome. Which writer is that? Is that F.J. Lennon? Oh, okay. Because what's funny about the strategy guide is it actually says Dennis Johnson, co-author of the Ripper screenplay, which is super interesting. I'm like, really? This strategy guide I'm not gonna say it's terrible, but it's like 9/10 of it is just simply writing out what happens in the game, and then the last bit is how to do the how to walk, the walkthrough of the game. But that's awesome. Hell yeah. What was I trying to do? I need to go to Jimmy Walker again. Oops, I accidentally captured a screenshot. So far, for Acts 1 and 2, it takes about 30 minutes. So let's see. See, what I'm doing right now is I'm just like trying to figure out how to activate the flags for the final section. I'm doing it in a really haphazard way too. I'm not really being methodical at all. Because see, I don't have to go to the warp space. I think warp space only tells you something if it's Magnata. Because if it's anybody else, it says like Jack Rip or something like that is the name. But if it's Magnata, it says Clarence. Uh, so I was fiddling around with this before. I just had to figure out what all it takes to activate the final section of the game. I know I don't have to talk to Vigo Hamon. I know that for a fact. Because I think I've done conversation with everybody. Done conversation with Ozzy Davis. I'm not saying a whole lot because I'm trying to think right now. I know I did it the other day. I was able to get to the final part without... I'm trying to figure out exactly what I did. And this is just testing not Magnata, it's testing Falconetti.
I found out more about Burton.
Okay, so...
Incoming surveillance trans.
That's what I had to do. Okay, so I got that. Yeah, you absolutely have to go to Captain Duchamp because you have to see those three surveillance transmissions. Wait, have I seen 3 or have I just seen 2? See, I can't even remember. I've got about a bajillion milligrams of caffeine in me, and none of it's doing any good. Can't wait to be back on my normal schedule, but it's just gonna be a lot of work. straightening out that house. It'll be great though, because the area that's going to be our living room sort of area will be a perfect place to stream. Because see, here it's so cramped and busy, and we have so much stuff that's kind of packed in here. Oh, we need more space so badly. Like a lot of my stuff will go in the shop area. Like my toolbox right now is in our like this sort of like small bedroom, and it is a big toolbox. Whereas if it's in like a shop area, it's outside of the house, and then that room we almost have too much room. Almost. Like we're probably gonna put our books in the I think what's kind of like a dining area or something. I don't know. It's hard to tell. Hey, Paul Giamatti. What? Maybe you can answer this, Daniel. What the hell is with all these games and actors named Paul, or actors and characters named Paul? Think about it. You got Paul Giamatti, Paul Stetler, and freaking Paul Mitri. What's with all these Paul people? Yeah, there's got to be some game reason for it. Like we got to figure out the answer. Actually, right now, what I would have been doing is someone that I was following. They've been playing Phantasmagoria 2, and I've been acting as their sort of hint keeper. Uh, I just don't feel like doing it right now. Mostly because I want to fiddle with this, because I do want to get out a proper run. I say it's not, the dev one is not a proper run, but, you know, it's one of those, hey, I skipped everything in the world runs. You know, because like how some people do that with some games, where they're like, hey, I'm able to bug out this and access this room and then go here. And they beat the game in 2 minutes. You know, which is okay, and it still involves skill and knowledge about the game, but, you know. I'll try talking to her again.
I want to.
Okay. Let me try going to each of these places. Tribeca, Soap Smokes. No. Falcon Eddie. Cafe du Champ. Magnato's apartment. Newsroom. Okay. So I may have been wrong about the Vigo Hamon thing. Oh, hey Daniel, there's another thing I want to tell you about. I figured out while playing this game. So, you know, there's the joke, Spoonie made this, and you guys made this joke about how Vigo Haman seems to have no legs. But if you look at it, why is my stream not updating on Restream? Uh-huh, okay. Hold on, let me check something. Okay, it looks fine there. Restream's just acting up. So, you know, everybody made the joke about how he has no legs. But if you look at it, check it out. He actually does have legs. Look, right there. He just is sitting in like a wide stance. They're not directly below him, but it's because he's like wide stanced. Because these tables are kind of short and stuff. So he actually does have legs. So I've got to j'accuse on you guys. On everybody. See, look at it. He's having to sit kind of wide, you know?
Your name, Haman? Mr. Quinlan. I know you.
See, that didn't do what I needed it to. That didn't do what I needed it to. So that wasn't the flag I was looking for. So I might have been right before.
Ben, are you...
Alright, let's try this again. I've got a list of discs, so I should stop skipping around discs that... Police... I can go to Eddie, I can go to Soap without changing discs. Okay. Okay, so those aren't the flags I need. Because the one thing I did figure out is that you at least have to talk to Catherine a bunch of times to get the final whack transmission from Farley. I'm good at Burton. I'm pretty sure I've already exhausted her stuff, but still. What do I gotta do to activate these flags? Because I know the secret lab stuff doesn't matter to Eddie, so... I don't think I got it, because I think I already finished up with what's-his-face, with Kane. Let me try that anyway, though. Make sure I'm not missing all of that. See, that's kind of the downside when you start doing this exploration, is trying to figure out where.
Weapon 3.
Give me just a moment.
Berman well. Antiviral well. Wofford well. Kane's well.
I have the antiviral utility.
Just remember what I told you. This stuff will prevent the Ripper from doing it. If you change...
You can't keep...
Can't get enough.
you familiar with the web runners?
Oh my god, my microphone's been off. How long's it been off? For a while, I guess? Sorry about that.
Don't lose faith, Quinn.
Okie dokie. What am I missing now? Talk to everybody. See, it's little things like that that kind of makes this game kind of frustrating sometimes. It's trying to know exactly what to do to continue because you didn't talk to somebody or didn't do something. Okay, which scenario is what? Because this game uses codes, like if you're in scenario 1, do this. Okay, so Falconetti is scenario 2. So see, scenario 3, scenario 2, I went to there. I got Pegasus as well. Weapon well, Virtual Herald. Another apron. Did the Pan Financial thing. Hold on. Wait, hold on. What if I did this wrong?
Salisbury.
Electronic ledger. Okay, I looked at the stuff. I did sidebar, did Canesville, antiviral, newsroom. Go to the newsroom then. Maybe I do need to go to the warp well.
Virtual Dynamics Operating System.
Exit cyberspace. Weapon 3. Bermanwell. Antiviral well. Wofford well. Keynes well. Isis well. Virtual Herald. Weapon 1. Weapon 2. Falconetti's well.
Check something here. Maybe I have to look at this. I'm gonna just throw all my stuff in my database.
The stage is set.
But I already analyzed it. Well, I think I gotta do more research or something. Be fiddling with this game. Either way, plus I don't know why Restream keeps acting up. Either way, I think that's all I'm gonna do for today. Just a little bit of hanging out, a little bit of streaming and all that. Let me see who's on right now that I can send a raid to. Let's see. What's he doing? Masked it. He's playing a game called Islets. It'll probably be a lot more exciting than this game will be. Well, either way, thanks everyone for dropping by. I know it's like super short and all that, but hey, you know, just try to get back into the swing of things and everything. But I definitely say try this out. Thank everyone for lurking too and everything. But yeah, drop by Mask and give him you know, give him your love and everything. See you guys on the flip side. Have a